Born on July 6, 1946, in New Haven, Connecticut, George Walker Bush grew up in a family steeped in politics, the son of George H.W. Bush, America's 41st president. Raised in Texas, Bush was shaped by Southern values, faith, family, and loyalty. Yet his early life was far from predictable. At Yale, he was outgoing but unfocused. He later earned his MBA from Harvard, the only U.S. president ever to do so. In his 20s and 30s, Bush struggled with purpose and alcohol. He later called this his lost years, before faith and discipline turned his life around. In 1977, he married Laura Welch, a quiet, steadfast librarian who became his anchor. Together, they built a family and a partnership defined by strength. By the 1980s, Bush entered business, running an oil company and helping his father's political campaigns. But his own ambitions were just beginning. In 1994, Bush ran for governor of Texas and won, surprising critics who had dismissed him as the son, not the leader. As governor, he earned praise for bipartisanship and education reform, building the image of a compassionate conservative. In 2000, Bush ran for president, promising to restore honor and dignity to the White House after the Clinton years. The election became one of the most controversial in U.S. history, decided by 537 votes in Florida and a Supreme Court ruling. Bush entered office as the 43rd president in January 2001, optimistic, humble, and focused on domestic issues. Then came September 11, 2001. The terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon changed everything. In the chaos of 9/11, Bush's leadership was tested. His words, "I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you," unified a shaken nation. Bush launched the war on terror, pledging to defend freedom and destroy those who attacked America. In 2001, the U.S. invaded Afghanistan to topple the Taliban and hunt down Osama bin Laden. 2 years later, Bush turned his focus to Iraq, arguing Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction. The Iraq War began in 2003. Controversial, costly, and divisive, it would define much of his presidency. At home, Bush expanded Medicare, reformed education through No Child Left Behind, and cut taxes to boost the economy. But his second term was marked by crisis, the devastating Hurricane Katrina, and growing opposition to the Iraq conflict. Despite criticism, Bush remained steadfast. Guided by faith, he said, "History will ultimately judge the decisions I made." By 2008, the Great Recession struck, ending his presidency amid economic collapse and war fatigue. He left office with low approval ratings but expressed no regret for his choices, believing he acted in America's best interest. After leaving Washington, Bush retreated to Texas, devoting himself to painting, veteran support, and humanitarian causes. Over time, history softened its tone. Many came to see him not just as a wartime president, but as a man of conviction, shaped by crisis. George W. Bush's presidency embodied the weight of modern leadership: courage under fire, controversy, and conscience. He once said, "I will not forget who I am and where I came from." For Bush, that meant faith, family, and the belief that freedom must be defended. From the fields of Texas to the Oval Office, his journey was one of redemption, resilience, and the relentless test of history. George W. Bush, the man who faced America's darkest hour and led with conviction, even when the world disagreed. If you found this information valuable, please go ahead and subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out the other interesting tales of the rest of the presidents.